Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Ecological management. Living organisms establish different living associations with others in order to obtain food or protection. Some of these living associations are beneficial to one another or both organisms in the relationship. Each exhibits the quality of tolerance and possesses certain adaptive features for survival. We have different types of association. We have the commensalism, the epiphytism, the parasitism, and the symbiosis. Commensalism is an association between two or more organisms and in which one benefits, the other neither gains nor loses. Example is the remora fish and shark. Remora picks the food debris while shark does not gain or lose anything. Epiphytism is a process which involves two plants. One lives on the stem or branch of the other where it seeks support. It does not necessarily get nutrients directly from its host. Their nutrients are got from dead leaves or dead remains of some small animals. Examples of epiphytes are ferns, mosses, and mistletoes. Parasitism is a process which involves two sets of organisms, one called the parasites and the other called the host. The parasites either live in their host, that's the endoparasites, or on their host, the ectoparasites, for their nourishment or food. This in return causes harm or disease to its host, which might result to death. Examples of endoparasites are hookworms, tapeworms, which feed on blood and digested food, bacteria like the salmonella and the jiga. Ectoparasites include ticks, mosquitoes, tsetsefly, aphids, bedbugs, and lice. Symbiosis is a process which involves the interaction between two organisms living together and benefiting from each other. It is equally called mutualism. It is a give and take affair. Examples of symbionts are the lichen, that's a dual organism algae, and fungi. Algae here makes the food and fungi protects the algae. We also have the cattle egret and cattle, and the hydra and tiny cells of green algae. The hydra harbors and protects the algae while the algae produces food in return. Tolerance is a study of reaction of organisms to physical and chemical factors in the environment. It comprises of the minimum range and the maximum range. Minimum range is the narrowest range of factors at which distribution of organisms will be affected in terms of survival, growth, and reproduction, while the maximum range is the highest range of factor at which distribution of the organism is mostly affected in terms of survival. The law of tolerance. The law of tolerance states that the distribution of species will be controlled by that environmental factor for which the organism has the minimum range of adaptability to control. Animals' range of tolerance is always difficult to study since their mobile nature makes them escape from unfavorable conditions. Some migrate, for example the birds, fishes, etc., while others hibernate, especially during winter, for example the squirrels, rodents, etc., thereby avoiding feeding. We should note that geographical range is a given location within which most organisms can live. Adaptation. Adaptation is a change in structure, function, and behavior of an organism in order to adjust or survive in its environment. Plants have three different types of adaptations. We have the xerophytes, the mesophytes, and the hydrophytes. The xerophytes are plants that survive in extremely dry places. They possess well-developed root system which absorbs water from deep level, special water storage tissues, small leaves to reduce rate of transpiration, possession of succulent leaves. They have thick bark, stem to avoid excessive loss of water from lenticels, and they have leaves which are waxy, hairy, spiny to reduce transpiration. Examples are the acacias, the mango, the bryophyllum, etc. Mesophytes are plants found where conditions are not extreme. They possess broad leaves for faster rate of transpiration, well-developed root system, and no special protection for stomata. Examples are the maize, the hibiscus, and the cowpea. Hydrophytes are plants that survive in water. They possess the ability of the leaves to float, for example, the water lettuce. They have poorly developed root system. They have a well-developed stomata and corticels on the upper surface only. Submerged plants have airspace for buoyancy, for example, the ceratophyllum. They have the presence of adventitious roots, for example, the water lily, and there is the presence of long stem or stalk for photosynthesis and pollination. Animal adaptation. Terrestrial animals possess thick, tough skin or hairs or furs, feathers as protective measures, as well as temperature regulator. They have lungs for respiration, kidneys for excretion, limbs for support and locomotion, sweat gland for cooling and excretion, and they also give birth to few young ones, for example the elephant. Arboreal animals possess bright colors as well as camouflage, for example the chameleon. They possess wings for flight. There is a presence of hollow bones which make room for lightness. They possess strong flight muscles and tendons. They possess powerful limbs, claws and tails for climbing and piercing, for example the birds, the baboons, monkeys, etc. The aves feed mostly on concentrated food or grains in order to have enough energy to fly long distance, and they possess streamlined body for easy flight. Aquatic animals. Aquatic animals possess streamlined body for easy movement in water. Some have dark upper parts while their lower parts are lighter in order to blend with the sky, that's to camouflage, when viewed from below. They possess gills or respiratory trumpets for respiration. They possess slimy body for easy movement as well as for protective measure. They possess fins and webs for easy movement, and they have the presence of suckers or hairs for attachment. Adaptation in parasites, that's the endoparasites. There is the presence of suckers and hooks for attachment. They shield themselves inside their host intestine with anti-enzymes in order to avoid being digested. Some, like the tapeworms, are hermaphrodites and do not need the opposite sex before fertilization. They possess very thin membrane which enhances the diffusion of already digested food from their host into their own system. Some have intermediate hosts which contribute to their confined existence, and they lay numerous eggs to make sure their new host is reached. The halophytes. Halophytes are salt-resistant organisms. They may be plants or animals. Examples of plants are the white mangrove and red mangrove, while the examples of halophyte animals are all which are marine animals like the sharks, whales, etc.